This weekend, I've had a few family events on, but I've managed to finish polishing the car. So I've polished off all of the overspray except for on the rear bumper, which I haven't quite finished. Other jobs I've done is I've bled the rear brakes again, but there was no air in them, so that all seems okay. And I've also checked the fluid levels in the gearbox and diff. Actually, I did the diff and oil poured out of it, so that's obviously full, got plenty in it. And then I was going to do the gearbox, but I've checked my remaining oil levels in the plastic cans of oil I received, and I've definitely put 1.3 litres in, and I've also put oil sealant around the plug that goes in the side of the gearbox. So I'm confident that's all fine. Other things I did, I used some stainless steel wire wraps around some heat shielding tape, this stuff. So I put some of that around the exhaust where it passes above the cross member piece towards the back of the car, mainly because I was worried about exhaust rattling. But since I also put the centre, for this fairly major thing I forgot about, I put the centre exhaust box back on the car. And for some reason, the exhaust clearances now are much better than they were with the straight through pipe. I have no idea why, because they look identical, except for the fact it's got a box on it. But I've managed to get all the clearances right, and I can shove the exhaust as hard as I like, and it doesn't hit on anything. So that's good. The only thing is, when I drove it in my little close here, it's got a bit of a rattle from the front. I don't know if it's the springs on the mounts or what it is. I'm going to have to wait and see what happens when I take it out on the road. So I'm taking it for an MOT tomorrow. I've checked everything. Everything seems good. The washers work and everything, because those were some of the things I hadn't checked. The other thing I did, which I'm really pleased about, is I put the plastic jacking points back on the car. I bought 4 new ones. The only problem was that at the front, even though I've invested in a low profile trolley jack, which goes down to apparently 7.5 centimetres, it wouldn't go under the front mounting point. So what I did was I took my Dremel, there it is. I took my Dremel and I cut there's a sort of hollow part at the first part of the jacking point. So in here it was hollow with bits of plastic coming down. I've taken those off, and now, lo and behold, if I can just show you this, the jack now goes under the car, which is a really big win, because before, you wouldn't believe how much trouble it is jacking it up and down. It still is a bit of a pain in the neck, I have to say, jacking these, because you can't. There's a jacking point on the front subframe, but you can't get the jack under the front of the car where it's so low. So you can't get a jack onto that. And so I wanted to be able to jack it from the jacking points. Now, I think I've seen people at race meetings jacking it from the middle of the side. But I have to say, I tried putting a block of wood against the chassis rail, and I jacked it and it distorted the chassis rail. So that doesn't work. So these jacking points are obviously reinforced in some way. So we're back to using the standard jacking points. Now, because of the rake of the car, the back's fine. I was always able to get the jack under the back jacking point, but it was just this front one. But since I cut it with the Dremel, it's fine. So I'm really pleased about that. Seems a minor thing, but it has been such a pain trying to jack this car up. So that's rather good. And I've put some air. I've checked all the pressures in the tyres, and I've set them all to 30 psi. So tomorrow I'm going to take it for the MOT, and then they're going to do the wheel alignment, because I can see it's still towing in a lot at the front, and I think it's towing in at the back. So I'm going to get them to do front and back. I'm not going to ask them to do the camber, because I think I'm going to have the car completely set up by Rob down at 4040. So I don't need to go that far. It's just that I don't want to drive it all the way to Farnborough and scrub all the tyres as I'm going down there. So I wanted to get it basically right. And that's been it for this weekend. Seems minor things, but I'm really pleased with the progress, and looking forward to, I'm actually quite excited about getting it down to the MOT tomorrow to see what they say. One final thing to tell you, when I was at the one of the family events this weekend, I met my my cousin's daughter's boyfriend, and I said to him, "What'd you do?" He said, "Oh, I vinyl wrap cars." So I thought, wow, that's an opportunity right there. So I may try and see if I can get him to be fair to him, I'll probably take it down to them to get it vinyl wrapped, but hopefully I'll get an extra special job.